For today, all you'll need is your yarn, tape measure and hook, and a pen, obviously. But let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually measure this part of my arm, because I do not like cardigans where the arms are really puffy. So I'm going to measure this. I'm going to do it in inches because I find that easier. So that's what, 8.5. So I'm going to work until the body of my Hexi is 8.5 inches. That's what the first week for the crochet along will be, to get the arm size to, for me, 8.5 inches. You need to measure a jumper or a cardigan and work out what your arm size is and do it to whatever your size is. So my yarn, this lovely marshmallow pie, says it uses a size 4 hook. When I've used a size 4 hook for Hexis before using a DK, it's been too stiff. So I'm going to trial using a 5, mainly because I couldn't find my 4.5, but I'm going to try a 5, and if it's too big, then I'll take it back and I'll change it to a 4.5 and I'll find one. Okay? So most of you will know that I am a magic ring girl. I do not really do the whole chain 4 and slip stitch. However, if that's your bag and that is what you do, then you need to do a chain 4 and slip stitch to turn it into a loop. I'm going to do the magic ring, just because that is what I prefer. I think this hook may be too big, but we'll try it. I don't really want a jumper that's like stiff like a blanket. Right, once you've done your magic ring or your chain 4 loop, you need to chain 3, and you need to do 2 doubles to turn it into a cluster. Actually, that feels all right so far. Then we're going to chain 2. Then we're going to do another cluster. And then we're going to chain 2. Just realised I probably should slow down a little bit. Sorry, guys. Then another cluster. So a cluster is just 3 double crochets. Then another chain 2, and then another cluster, and then another chain 2. So far I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 clusters, so I need to do 2 more. So a cluster, and then we're going to chain 2, and then another cluster. It might look like you've got too many clusters, but it will work out, I promise. And then you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to go into the top of the chain that you started with, and you're going to do a slip stitch. And that is the first round. So that's one side, first round of one side. Don't worry if it crinkles a little bit, it'll be absolutely fine. Now, I don't know whether to do a solid granny square or whether to do a traditional, what I would call a traditional. I think we'll just do a traditional. So now we're going to slip stitch to this chain space here. So you go in the top of this stitch and you just slip stitch across. Go in the top of that stitch and slip stitch across, and into the top of that one and slip stitch across. There we go. Right, now we're in our chain space. Now this is a corner, so we need to do a cluster, chain 2, cluster. But first we need to do a chain 3 to make our first double. Then we finish the cluster with 2 more doubles. Then you chain 2 and do another cluster. Don't you just love the piece? There we go. Right, now what we're going to do is, instead of chaining 2 here like we did on the previous round, we are just going to do our next cluster straight into this gap. Feels a bit wrong doing Christmas stuff right now, but I know I'll have a beautiful Christmas hexie somewhere around Christmas, hopefully. Right, now here we've got a corner again, so we're going to chain 2 and do another cluster. The only time we do a chain 2 between clusters is in the corner. So the next one, we're going to do a cluster straight into here. This is not, well, this is our corner, but I meant this bit here is not our corner. So there's our cluster. And then chain 2 because we are at a corner again, and another cluster. And then go straight into the next one with a cluster. Oops. And then we need to do a chain 2 because again this is a corner, and another cluster. It will start going a bit what I would call frilly. Do not worry about it, it's absolutely fine. And then we're going to go straight into here with another cluster. Basically in every corner you've got a cluster and then 2 chain and a cluster. Then the 2 chains and then another cluster. And then this is your last corner from your previous round, so we're going to go straight into it with a cluster. Then you're going to do chain 2 and then another cluster. And that will be, oh, hang on, almost. Then you're going to slip stitch into the top of your initial chain, so into there, slip stitch. There we go. So that's the end of your second round. I know, doesn't look much like a hexi cardi at the moment, but I promise it will. So the next thing we're going to do is slip stitch across into this chain space. So now you've got, this is a corner, 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 and this is a corner. So in our corners, we always do our cluster, chain 2, cluster. In this space here between clusters, it's not a chain space, but it is a space, we're going to do a cluster. So we're going to end up with cluster, 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 cluster. But don't worry, I'll be here to do it with you. So let's slip stitch across to the corner. There we go. Now we do our chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and we do our finish our cluster. So we just do 2 doubles, 1, 2. Then we do a chain 2. Then we do the rest of our cluster. 1, 2, 3. And now with this gap between clusters, we are just going to bang a cluster straight in there. No chain space, no chains, just straight in. There we go. And then we're going to do our corners. So we're going to do cluster, chain 2, cluster. Chain 2. Cluster. When we get onto the bigger rounds, I think I might just speed it up a little bit for you. Then straight into there with another cluster, no chains, just straight in. There we go, and then this is a corner one, so just straight in with a cluster. Chain 2 and another cluster. Then we're going to go in here with a cluster. And then we're back to the corner, so we're going to do a cluster, chain 2, cluster. Oh, sorry. Then into this space here with just a cluster. And into the corner with your cluster, chain 2, cluster. And into this space with a cluster. And into this corner with a cluster, chain 2, cluster. And into this space here with a cluster. And then into the top of your chain with a slip stitch. There we go. So now we have a beautiful hexagon. Doesn't look much like a cardigan, I know, but I promise it will. Right, so here we've got a corner, so we're going to do chain, no, we're going to do a cluster, chain 2, cluster. Then in this one we're going to do a cluster, cluster, and then here we've got another corner, so it'll be cluster, chain 2, cluster. And you'll see the pattern becomes quite easy to just know when you do your cluster, chain 2, cluster, or just a cluster. But you just keep going until you have the desired width of your arm. But at the moment you can't really see why you need the width, so I'm just going to keep going, then I'll be able to show you. But I probably am going to speed it up a little bit, okay? So I'm going to So now I've just done 2 more rounds. You can see the hexagon doesn't really lay flat, but that's fine, that's what we want. I'm just going to slip stitch into the top of the chain. Now this is obviously not big enough yet, but what I thought I would show you is the way it gets shaped. So now this is a very tiny little arm. This is what it looks like. Doesn't look like an arm, I know, but when we are ready, the arm measurement is this bit here. So at the moment we're at 2.5 inches, so I've got quite a way to go. I've got to go to about up here. So I'm just going to keep working on the rounds, doing exactly the same. Every round is exactly the same at the moment, so we are just doing 1 cluster. Well, let's start here actually. Slip stitch to your corner, then you're going to do a cluster, chain 2, cluster, then just cluster, 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 and then here you've got cluster, chain 2, cluster, 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 chain 2, cluster, 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 chain 2, cluster. You just keep going around. You go round and round and round until your measurement. So to get the right shape, you need to fold these 2 bits together, and that will get you your right shape. And then when your measurement across here is however wide you need your arm, you stop. Okay, I will come back and show you when I'm at that width. So I have got to the desired width for my arms. This is what it looks like out flat, but don't worry about that. We're going to fold it and then you'll see what it looks like. This is what it looks like when it's all folded into the right shape. Isn't it Christmassy? And you can see from the middle, the armpit, to the outside is about 8.5-ish inches. So that's just the right size. So now what I'm going to do is pin the arms together here and here. Not quite yet, I'll show you in a minute. And then we can work on making it wider by going down, around and back up in the next video. I am going to use stitch markers here to pin this bit together and pin this bit together, but you want this bit to be inside out because the next bit is worked in rows that you then turn, and it works better if it's inside out. So when you fold it over, make sure you do it so that it's inside out, and then this will be easier to work on. Another quick tip, if I was you, I would count out how many rows it's taken to get to this point, so that when we do the second half, we don't have to keep measuring it, we can just count how many rows. So I've just popped a stitch marker in there to keep it together, and in there to keep it together. What I did forget to do when I did mine was you want to slip stitch to this chain space, but I will do that next time. So yeah, just like you have on every other round, just slip stitch to the chain space. It'll make it easier. So if we count from our center point here, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 rows for my size. Your size will be different, but it will help you on your second half if you count the rows rather than having to keep measure. Anyway, that's the end of this part, and hopefully I'll catch you next week for next week's part.